Hi, my name is Dr. Sinead Mullally, and I would like to share some of the findings from our newly published paper, Sharing Autistic Children's Experiences and Insights. Autism has often been defined for autistic people, and this has led to an understanding of autism that many people argue misrepresents and actually harms autistic people. So when we're conducting autism research, we need to think carefully about whose voices are absent. And when we do this, we find that autistic children's voices are particularly absent. Even when they are included, they've often been overshadowed by the voices of adults. So to address this, we asked autistic children themselves how they understand autism, how they feel about being autistic, and how they communicate about their experiences and needs. We also asked how these experiences might change across contexts. We talked to 136 autistic children living across the UK, and we used a combination of quantitative analysis with reflexive thematic analysis of the children's own words, allowing us to capture both patterns and lived experiences in the analysis. We found that many children reported having quite a limited understanding of autism, with more than a third saying that they knew little or nothing about their own autism. Very few tended to talk about being autistic, and many reported that they don't even feel confident that they have the words to do this in the first instance. Feelings about being autistic were quite mixed. Many of the children liked being autistic and they recognised their own strengths. But many also felt that things were harder for them because they're autistic, and many reported trying to hide their autism from others. We also found that context mattered. Experiences were not fixed. They changed significantly depending on where the children were and who they were with. Just one of the examples of this. Here we find that most children reported feeling that it is okay to be autistic around people at home. But this dropped significantly when they considered whether it's okay to be autistic around their friends and their school peers, and when they are around their teachers. This was very striking to us, firstly, for the clear impact and shift that context makes, but also as it told us that many autistic children are learning early on that it's not okay to be autistic, to be themselves at school, even with adults who are there to nurture and support them. Through thematic analysis, we constructed 4 themes. The first theme was overwhelming experiences, and many children described feeling overwhelmed, particularly at school, and this could include sensory overwhelm due to social complexity and uncertainty. And when overwhelmed, many children describe shutting down, sometimes being unable to speak or explain what's happening, and struggling with decisions in these demanding environments. In certain contexts, children often described unsafe people. These were peers who ridiculed, excluded, or bullied them, or adults who did not understand or listen to them. For many children, both overwhelming experiences and unsafe people were experienced at school, and this led to this feeling of school as a place that was not safe to be for them. In contrast, when children were in safe environments with safe people, often home or with trusted others, they described being able to relax, to be themselves, and to be able to communicate more openly. These relationships appeared to act as a kind of sanctuary, supporting recovery and connection, and illustrated a dynamic movement between states of threat to states of safety that were shaped not just by environments, but by relationships with others. We also found evidence that autistic identity was possible, but it was shaped by context, with safe relationships supporting pride and authenticity, and unsafe environments and people constraining identity and contributing to masking. So across the accounts, we found clear patterns. Children reported moving between overwhelm and safety in everyday life. And relationships and environments shaped everything, either creating safety and supporting identity, or contributing to overwhelm, masking, and distress. These findings highlight a simple but important point. Inclusion requires safety. In schools, this means predictable environments, safe supportive relationships, and a reduction of stigma and misunderstanding. For many autistic children, school is not yet a place where it feels safe to be themselves, even when with the adults that are meant to support them. And in conclusion, we find that autistic children are perceptive, insightful, and ready to be heard. If we listen and create environments where they feel safe, we can better support their well-being and their ability to understand themselves and to be understood by others. Thank you for listening, and to all of the children and family who share their stories as part of this research.